Hi. So today we have some wacky versus battles for you. As you can see by the title, weird Naruto versus battles. First, let's just go over like the example, just so most people have an idea of what we're doing here. So the example I wrote down is, if you remember a year or two ago, Seth the programmer covered a popular topic that was kind of wacky in this whole versus battle shenanigans. It was a Shikamaru with the Byakugan versus Rock Lee with the Sharingan. I think it's the opposite.
It was the other way around.
So what's y'all guys' take on that? Even though Seth already made the video. Yeah, I don't even remember what the deal was.
I don't remember.
Either Shikamaru puts Lee under Genjutsu, or if he's not strong enough, Lee would just blitz. And then either way, the eyes don't really matter. Look at Sasuke's first encounter. He had his Sharingan activated. Lee's saying
that's why it'd be
it doesn't matter if your body can't keep up.
Yeah, it'd be super weird to just say like, oh, Shikamaru stomps just because of precog. Lee kind of just blitzed him even without Byakugan.
Shikamaru have any like tuning exam speed feats? Like he keeps up arguably with Tamari, who at that point might be relative to Konkuro, who like went up against Shino. I mean, are these feats?
Oh, that is true. He said, but he didn't have 3 Tomo. So I think the best one I have written down is gonna be like Sasuke. So it's like Rinne Sharingan Prime strong version, like strongest Sasuke, but he still has his curse mark versus Prime Naruto, strongest version of Naruto, but he has full mastery over Flying Raijin to like Minato's level.
All right, so that's basically sort of see a version of that. We saw a weaker Sasuke, obviously with the curse mark, but I'm thinking like War Arc Sasuke when Jugo adds his curse mark.
Yeah, similar to that, but he didn't. I don't think he had the Rinnegan at that point. It's supposed to be a 10 times multiplier.
I think it's like the Heaven Seal, but then it also there's 2 stages of it, so I think it would just be 100 times multiplier. But I don't think the second multiplier was ever confirmed. That would also make sense because Jirobo versus Choji's pills was like 100 times.
I mean, obviously Naruto, like in terms of Shinobi, is probably the fastest. I'd say maybe Sasuke that keeps up with him, but then he has Flying Raijin.
Yeah, I just don't think Sasuke has enough chakra. He'll just be drained before Naruto would. Yo, imagine like the 5,000 clones confirmed in the video game just all using flying.
All using flying? Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
I'm giving it to Naruto.
Yeah, I don't think Sasuke really has a chance at all in this fight. In Boruto, he really he loses chakra so quickly after a couple moves.
This is kind of a meme at this point.
Yeah. So after like one teleportation move, he's just like, I'm done. I'm out of chakra. Yeah, definitely Naruto.
So I have another one that's it's Naruto with the Rinnegan.
Yep.
Versus 100 healing Sakura, but she has the 8 gates.
Oh my.
All right.
Okay.
So the way I thought about that was like she could use the 8 gates. It's supposed to kill you, right? But she has 100 healings active at the same time. So how would that work? Would she die? I'd say Sakura. Does
Rinnegan have any abilities that would just counter that? I don't think it would because Madara had both Rinnegan and that didn't really do anything.
Maybe Naruto with the 9 tails, but he had the 10 tails. So yeah, it pretty much.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Sakura then.
I don't really want to, but I don't know. You kind of have to.
That region is OP.
The region is OP, especially if you had the 8 gates. That'd be so insanely stupid. Alright, this is my last one, and we can get into yours. DMS Kakashi with the 8 gates versus Sasuke as the Jinchuriki of the 9 tails. I feel like that one's a bit one-sided as well.
Oh, that's definitely DMS Kakashi.
100%.
Because I was gonna say, I think DMS Kakashi without the 8 gates would probably have a good shot at winning that.
He doesn't even really need the 8 gates for that, to be honest. You know, his reaction time and everything, I don't think Sasuke could really do much in that fight.
Thinking about it, technically Sasuke was the Jinchuriki of like all the tailed beasts, essentially.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Taking the power. And just Naruto himself was still bodying him.
What about just DMS Kakashi? You think DMS Kakashi could win that?
Probably, yeah. I think he did the best against Kaguya.
Yeah, he just straight blitzed her.
And Kamui Sasuke to another dimension, GG.
The DMS Kakashi slaps literally everyone.
We're just doing hypothetical what ifs that would never actually happen. And this coming up one that I have right here is a perfect example of that. Who do you guys got? Baryon mode Konan versus Boruto era dual Rinnegan Orochimaru.
Baryon mode Konan?
Baryon mode Konan. So it just implies she has Kurama in full control for whatever reason. Versus dual Rinnegan Orochimaru. So it would be like Boruto era. Think about it though. If you like put the Baryon mode on the papers, instead of like having to punch, you could just have like a barrier of paper just everywhere.
Nah, I think
That
Konan
just
wins
drains
that.
life.
Baryon mode Konan and dual Rinnegan Orochimaru.
I got Konan all the way.
I think I gotta take Konan.
I think
have to.
Konan might be the strongest person to have Baryon mode.
Yeah, Orochimaru is literally impossible to kill, though. I mean, I guess
Yeah, no, that's
narratively,
So,
yeah.
I think the way it would go, Konan would defeat Orochimaru's main body, and then
Yeah,
one of
he
his
just-
random consciousnesses planted in some random fodder shinobi from halfway across the world
Yeah.
would just regain its life, and then Konan would die because she used Baryon mode.
Pretty much. I think that's the most likely outcome.
Whereas she wins, Orochimaru also doesn't lose.
I get it from that perspective too, because he just can't die.
But
Ooh,
in
bumpy
terms of
down,
the
really.
fight, she would win.
Yeah,
but-
in terms of the actual fight itself, yeah, she definitely.
But he would just
wins.
end up coming back anyway. He's just immortal at this point.
Conan boxes Orochimaru with giant paper Baryon
read that.
hands.
I love that. So here's sort of another what if I kind of want to do. You guys all know Obito versus Kakashi, one of the best fights in the
Yeah.
whole series.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
what if, like 20 years ago, The Rock just fell on Obito's other side? So then Kakashi just has Obito's other Sharingan.
Okay.
So Kakashi has intangibility and Obito has Kamui. Who y'all got?
So it's just them with their roles reversed. Wasn't it said at some point that he could only spam the intangibility because of the Hashirama cells?
Well,
What is it? I mean-
it stops from going blind.
Oh yeah,
it
okay,
definitely
yeah,
stops.
stop it from going blind. Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I think Obito's faster for sure.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
intangibility.
But
the thing is, it's a
intangibility.
5-minute intangibility.
That's
and it's
true.
just non-stop. And if he just doesn't touch him for like a millisecond, it resets. Just that alone. That hacks
yeah.
gives it to Kakashi.
That's true. That yeah, it is different. Intangibility was broken, so it's pretty much what made him so strong. Obito is super dependent on his intangibility. I think without his intangibility, Obito would focus more on the Rinnegan and Wood style, and the Rinnegan that he just didn't use.
So this next topic, one of my favorites, just because it uses one of my favorite characters. I won't say he's the best character, but I'll say he's my personal favorite character in all of Naruto. So you got Kimimaro.
Yeah, I love
Give
Kimimaro.
Kimimaro, give him Kaguya's Bone Ash Jutsu, right? So
Okay.
anything he touches with his bones, just instant, it negates their life, essentially. Just instant GG. You got
Okay.
Kimimaro, just touches anyone, it's over.
Mhm.
Versus full power Orochimaru. Normal version of Boruto era.
So just Boruto era Orochimaru.
This would also be when he's not sick. Just want to clarify that, like, keep in mind that like his Edo version in the War Arc
Yeah.
is like him nerfed.
Mhm.
I think you were throwing out like an 80%.
Yeah, it was something
Edo.
like that. I've seen someone scale it to 80% before.
I like that too. So just imagine like Kimimaro, like 20% stronger than what he was in the War Arc, keeping in mind he was keeping up with Casey and One Naruto and tanking Rasa and Shurikens as an Edo. 20% stronger than that, Kimimaro, and then just he one hits anything.
Oh, this is a good one. Full powered Orochimaru, Bone Ash Kimimaro. I mean, Bone Ash is strong, but Orochimaru is kind of different in Boruto. I want to say Kimimaro, but I don't know. I feel like Orochimaru at full power is kind of just too strong, maybe.
That's a good point. I'm giving it to Kimimaro just because he's my favorite character and no logical reason
Yeah, we're just
whatsoever.
gonna go bias. I'm just gonna go Kimimaro as well. Just straight bias.
Yes.
I love Kimimaro. I feel like he deserved a lot more.
All right, so let's just assume
We put this
Minato
on the
versus
stream
Six
really
Paths of
quick.
Pain, but they don't want to actually fight, so they summon their jutsus and just go away. And then these jutsus battle it out. So you got the Reaper
is the-
Death Seal
this is
versus
the
the
thumbnail.
King of Hell. It's sort of like a summoning jutsu rather than an actual jutsu, which summoning just murks the
thumbnail.
other one.
Hmm.
Okay, so the Reaper Death Seal seals pretty much as long as you're strong enough can seal whoever or parts of someone. Ah, this is a good one too. And then this one, I mean, I like the Reaper Death Seal more as a jutsu. So
I love that reasoning. Can the King of Hell even use the Rinnegan it has? Or is it just linked vision like the other pains?
I don't know.
Kind of like how everyone in the Infinite Tsukiyomi randomly just gets a Rinnegan. Just a fake Rinnegan for no reason.
I think I definitely like the Reaper Death Seal more as a jutsu, but I don't know if it can. This is a funny one because it doesn't.
I think it also depends on the caster, who in this hypothetical, I did say it's Minato versus Six Paths of Pain. I
Okay.
think it does depend on the caster because Minato was able to seal away like the entire Nine Tails.
Yeah.
Whereas Hiruzen, like old Hiruzen, was barely able to seal away like Orochimaru's arms. Like clearly a mismatch of power there.
Definitely. It's just Minato was a lot stronger than old Hiruzen.
In this hypothetical, I am thinking I'm just gonna give it to the King of Hell just because.
Well, someone just said, does the King of Hell have a soul?
I mean,
that's a good point too. I don't know. We can assume it does.
You say that Kurama has a soul because he's just a lump of chakra.
That's a good.
Yeah, technically he is just like chakra,
He's
like
just
a
chakra.
being of chakra. Yeah.
I think creation of all things gives it souls. I think it just molds the chakra.
Oh, someone said not to mention taking souls and using them is an ability of the Rinnegan as well.
Just take each other's souls. Matches made in heaven. Topic number 5. Okay, this is I will say I had the most fun with this topic to the point that it might be too confusing to even answer.
Okay.
This is by far the most ridiculous topic you'll ever have seen.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna say this kind of slowly. So, so hypothetically, it's Borushiki, and then Sasuke just randomly comes along and cuts off Borushiki's hand, and then kills Borushiki. Then like time passes, so then the rest of Momoshiki's DNA just turns into like 100%. Then Boruto's hand is like 100% Momoshiki. So then Boruto hand is revived as Momoshiki. So it's Momoshiki in control of Boruto's hand, right? So you have that. So you have that versus you have that versus Metal Lee. You got
Metal the hand versus Metal Lee.
so it's Momoshiki in control
Momoshiki's
of
hand.
Boruto's hand versus Metal Lee.
Wow.
Talk about a fucking weird versus battle. Dude. Okay,
Wow.
Love this. Love this.
Momoshiki controlled hand versus Metal Lee.
We can go up into what, like the third gate or something?
Yeah, it's like the third, third? I don't remember.
Momoshiki also has Rinnegans on his hand. So I'm wondering, do we give that to Boruto's hand? I'm thinking we do.
And Metal Lee.
Yeah.
Not only does that give Boruto's hand access to Rinnegan abilities, but it also gives him sight.
Oh, that's true. It does give him sight.
You also have to keep in mind, chakra is in like every cell of the body, and chakra somewhat correlates to speed. So if you're just taking away like 95% of Borushiki's body, you have like 5% of Borushiki in terms of speed. Is 5% Borushiki faster and stronger than Metal Lee? Especially in the third gate?
Maybe.
Nah, man. Metal Lee, man. This is such a.
It says, can he do Drunken Fist? You know what? I'm gonna give it to him.
Just give it
he
to
does
him.
have Drunken Fist.
Who wins?
Left or right hand? Doesn't matter. Whichever hand Boruto is like naturally using, let's just say his right hand.
Isn't the
No,
karma
it's
was
the
on
hand that
his?
his karma's on.
Yeah, it's right hand then.
I really don't know. I don't know. It's just-
It's such.
Oh,
When you said you
I
had
just
weird versus battles, you were not joking, man.
listen, this is as weird as it gets. Borushiki should be stronger than fused Momoshiki because fused Momoshiki saw Boruto and it's like, your fate is crazy. So he probably knows outcome of the battle. So he probably just allows himself to put his karma onto Boruto. You gotta wonder, why does he put it on Boruto instead of Sasuke or Naruto? Because of Boruto's genetics. So my theory is because of his genetics, Borushiki, or rather Momoshiki, inside of Boruto's body would just be stronger than fused Momoshiki.
I think I've heard that theory before, where it's like he threw the fight at the end just to get Boruto. Like, it makes sense.
Momoshiki also does have thousands of years of
Yeah,
fighting
thousands of years
experience.
of just saved, and so does Borushiki by being his vessel.
Those thousands of years of experience would probably just straight up overcome the sporadic nature of the Drunken Fist. He would just see all of it coming. There's nothing you could do that he just wouldn't see. Do you think Borushiki is 10 times stronger than Kaguya? Let's answer that first. Just say yes for the sake
I don't know
of...
the exact multiplication on it, but yeah, he's stronger than Kaguya.
So let's say Borushiki's hand is only 1% of Borushiki's actual power. That would be 10% of Kaguya. It was Metal Lee 10% of Kaguya. Alright, you convinced me.
Yeah,
I'm giving it to the hand. The hand all the way. Alright, moving on to the next one.
Yeah, just move on to the weird ones. I don't want to talk about an actual versus battle right now.
Got Itachi, right? Just normal Itachi before he dies. Let's say he doesn't get sick. Let's say he also uses his Mangekyo to the point that he gets blind. So you got blind Prime Itachi versus Orochimaru.
Blind Prime.
You could see that in the series. Orochimaru would just go after Itachi in that case.
That is true.
But can he still use Susanoo though?
I'm gonna say yes because Madara could. He just wouldn't be able to see.
He can still use Susanoo. He can still use his Genjutsu, all that.
The thing is, with Genjutsu, the way it works is you accumulate chakra in your eyes, so you like build it up.
Yeah.
And then you just shoot it at people. So it's literally the same thing as like Ino's mind transfer. It's like a slow-moving, invisible chakra that just shoots from a person to a different person. If you don't have the eyes, can you build it up in the eye sockets?
That's. Because you say so he's completely blind. He can't see anything, right? He can just hear, or is it just blurry vision?
No, he's blind. Like you might as well just take the eyes out of him. Unlike Madara, he wouldn't have Sage Mode to be able to like sense his environment.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't have a chance. I don't think
Ninjutsu is like the main thing he has. His Taijutsu and Ninjutsu isn't too impressive.
It's not. Not for the most part, no. It's not. Nothing besides his Genjutsu is that impressive. And his Susanoo, obviously.
He did keep up with Naruto when he got reanimated. So
he could also see.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess in the instance that he has his eyes, they're just blind, he would still be able to accumulate chakra. He could probably still use Genjutsu. He would just have to aim it.
He'd have to know where to aim the Genjutsu at. I'd probably give it to Orochimaru. I feel like
I don't think he could win that fight at all.
But yeah, I mean, if you assume that he can still land a Genjutsu, fair enough. But if not, then I'd say Orochimaru takes this most of the time. Yeah, like 9 out of 10 times that this fight happens.
It's a good point. We're not even saying it's like definitively. We're just saying what could or most likely might happen. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have no idea what we're. Like, these are all so out there that we're not gonna have the answers, but especially the hand one, I don't know.
All right, let's go ahead.
Let's just move on.
All right, so Gamabunta, the Toad, the Summoning, the Great Dude himself, versus Part 1 Red Pill Choji. Choji in like the last arc of Naruto Part 1, the Sasuke retrieval, takes the red pill. Does he fold Gamabunta? You got Gamabunta or Red Pill Choji? Even if Choji is stronger, hypothetically, does he have the stamina to just last out against Gamabunta? Gamabunta is also a summoning, so if you do enough damage or whatever, I think he just goes away.
Could be the case. I think it's been shown to us.
Choji gets butterfly mode, so he'll be good at like close range, I guess. He'll probably be able to grow as big, if not bigger, than Gamabunta. But Gamabunta can also jump. Also can like shoot out like water bullets that are just huge and can like take out the forest in one shot. I'm thinking Gamabunta. He just outlasts Choji.
I'm thinking Gamabunta as well. Someone said Gamabunta is roughly equal to Shukaku, which that's true. Equal or stronger, maybe. I don't know. At least from what we saw.
Well, Gamabunta did have to transform into the Nine Tails, which that doesn't actually make him stronger. It just gives him a different shape.
It just let him grip him easier, pretty much.
But I feel like if Gamabunta could beat Shukaku, he just would have, ignoring Naruto. The Naruto just wouldn't have been needed. So I feel like Naruto, narratively, had to be needed, which would just put Shukaku above Gamabunta.
Yeah, I don't think he's Biju level. I have to give it to Shukaku for sure.
Forget Choji then. What about summoning versus summoner? You got Gamabunta versus Jiraiya. That's an interesting one right there.
Gamabunta versus Jiraiya. So can Jiraiya use the other toads?
I'll give him his 2 toads he needs for the Sage Mode. I forget their name, Ma and Pa.
Yeah, just Ma and Pa.
But he still has to be able to activate the Sage Mode. I'm not just going to instantly give him the Sage Mode.
Okay. Sage Mode Jiraiya is pretty strong.
Is pretty strong, but can he even get into that?
Yeah, I don't even know if he'd be able. So if he's not just starting off the fight in Sage Mode, I think Gamabunta just packs him up, to be real. Like, because it takes a long time.
It's fair, yeah. Are toads like resistant to fire, or are they weak to fire? Because I know Jiraiya gets some toad oil on them and then just let them burn.
Let me see. Are they weak to fire? I don't think that's ever been.
I think that Jiraiya would also just be way faster than Gamabunta.
That is true.
I don't know if he can just do enough damage.
He's slow. He's just slow but tanky.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think toads do have genjutsu resistance. I think that was stated. I don't remember where. It might have been in like the Hagoromo flashback. Oddly enough, I wonder if like the sound genjutsu could do that on Gamabunta. That would be a win con right there.
The sound genjutsu, yeah. The sound genjutsu, isn't it stated to be one of, if not the strongest genjutsu or something like that? Something crazy?
Yeah, it is stated to be the strongest, but then there's a couple stated to be the strongest.
Oh,
So
well, yeah. A lot of retcons, huh? Maybe it's just the strongest sound base. I think that's a more fair argument.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Jiraiya scales above the pains and Gamabunta couldn't hit them. He scales above like the animal and the what other ones was it? It was the animal and the human, no? That he fought originally.
Again, he didn't fight Tendo Pain, which is the pain that pushed him back. And I think the Tendo Pain could just push Jiraiya back equally.
I think if Tendo Pain showed up first, Jiraiya wouldn't have had time to get into Sage mode. So
Funny as it is, there's arguments.
yeah, I guess.
Narrative doesn't apply it. Going back to Choji here. All right, maybe Red Pill Choji wasn't enough to take on Gamabunta, but what if you gave Choji both the Red Pill and the 8th Gate? You got Kid Choji 8th Gate mode with the Red Pill versus Tsunade. We'll give her 100 healings, give her whatever you want. You got Prime Tsunade versus 8th Gate Red Pill Choji.
So it's 8th gate times 100? Is that what it is? If it's 8 gates times 100, it's a pretty easy.
That makes 100,000 times multiplier if you're gonna multiply it like that.
Yeah, that one.
But the Red Pill and the 8th Gate like combined, it just give him a heart attack in like 2 seconds.
Oh, because the pills do kill you also.
Does he even...
He can get like one punch in.
Did he even like run to touch Tsunade in the first place? His body just
he dies immediately.
implode?
I think that's kind of fair.
Why don't she just heal herself? Like, I don't see Choji winning that fight.
It just
After one hit,
She healed
after one
herself
hit, he
in, like,
dies.
Dimension warping butterfly mode.
Do you think? Yeah, I guess it would depend on. Do you think she can heal her entire body after it just gets demolished by one punch?
Like Cell from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Really low diff. Or maybe they just both die. Maybe.
Well, Choji would definitely die if that was. He would definitely die even if he does kill Tsunade here.
That's not the question. The question is, does Tsunade live?
Yeah, I think that's. He probably just destroys her with one punch, and then they both die. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Madara cut her in half, so she should be fine. See, the thing is, I don't think Choji would cut her in half. I think he would just eviscerate every single cell in her body all at once.
Yeah, you'd have to think. So if we're going with the 100,000 times or whatever, that punch would be stronger than any punch I think we've seen in the show.
The question isn't if Tsunade's living; it's if the planet is living as well.
He could probably just one-shot Earth as we know it. It's just, like with the 8 gates amp and 100 times multiplier, I doubt that she's gonna like be able to react to his movements at all.
See, if we're talking like base Choji, sure, you got me there. But if we're talking both 8 gates and the Red Pill at the same time, that's another story.
Sakura can regrow a whole arm, right? Yeah, that's true, but she still has like her body to regrow it from, you know? Like, what if her body just got completely evaporated by a punch? Is kind of the question here.
Yeah, she might. I don't think she might regrow it. I don't think she's regrowing anything.
I don't think she's coming back from that one.
I mean, she's already pretty old anyway, and
could be wrong, but I'm going perfect cell rules because it's about cellular regeneration.
Just don't think she has the chakra for that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because if cells are in every cell of our body, then if she's reduced down to 1 cell, she has 1 cell worth of chakra to regenerate her whole body, which that's not gonna work.
True, that's true.
Monkey King Enma and how he's like the strongest summoning. I think that was stated in a part 1 data book. But how true does that hold up? So let's say we have Monkey King Enma. Take Hiruzen out of the equation, just Monkey King Enma. How does he stack up against Neji and Shippuden? Anytime
just
in
Enma?
Shippuden. Beginning of Shippuden, War Arc, anytime. How does Enma face off against Neji?
This is a bit weird, because what are Enma's feats really? It's just pushing the Ninetales, no?
Well, that would be earlier. What does he do in the Orochimaru fight? I think he does fight the Edos at some point.
Okay, so he does.
I remember, honestly. So Hiruzen uses him a lot, but I don't want to count any of his like staff feats. I feel like he'd have to be used by someone to even fight as a staff. So Neji is a Jonin in Shippuden.
That he bodies 2 Edos actually, like it's funny. So yeah, maybe Enma got this. Wait, are we talking which Neji? Is it like Chunin exams or like
We'll just go war arc. Just keep
War
it
Arc
simple.
Neji? What did he do in the War Arc exactly?
And he died to a splinter.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
I mean, he did fight off against a few Zetsu. Forget the time that his Zetsu did like almost eat him. Besides
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna go Enma. Okay.
For sure. All right, yeah, I did just kind of lowball Neji there with those few statements. The only things he did, just absolute trash. All right, instead of Neji, what about one of like the 10-tail fodder things it makes in the war arc that like all of the Konoha 9, 10, 11, whatever they are, all the like Konoha people fight? So how does Enma stack up against just one of those? Not the full 10-tails, just like one of the tiny 10-tails fodder summoning things.
One of the like the little, I get what you're saying. I doubt that they're as strong as the 9-tails, but then again, like Enma doesn't scale that high either. He just pushed him back. So
For simplicity, I'll also say it's one of the tinier ones.
well, does Enma even have? So he kills the Edos. The Edo, what is it? It was during the fight against Orochimaru, so it was Hashirama and Tobirama.
Why was Enma just like holding Orochimaru's sword to like not stab Hiruzen like the whole time? It's like he was just laying on the ground doing that. He wasn't even standing. Like, did he get paralyzed at some point during the fight?
I don't remember.
Just laying
Why
down.
was he
for,
just
like,
laying there?
10 minutes straight. Like if he stood up, maybe like did a jutsu. Just
Yeah.
Wasn't he just really hit?
Because Enma stomps the Jubi fodder. If we look at how Gamakicho, Aoba, and Katsuyu were doing against them, Enma should bop them, especially if he is staff form. And then are those 10-tails things Sanin level? If we take that statement that Enma is the strongest summoning, then Enma should be Sanin level. His body was neutralized on the ground because he was covered in snakes.
This makes me wonder, where does Enma stack up realistically?
Yeah, I've never even thought about it until like right now. All right, did you want to just bring up another one?
All right, so another hypothetical here for you. So the Uzumaki are just known to be good at like the multi-shadow clone jutsu. What
Yep.
if you just gave that to the 6 paths of pain? Instead of 6 paths of pain, you have 6,000 paths of pain versus the 10-tails wins.
The Nagato. So are we saying the Paths of Pain or just like Nagato does a
Saying
bunch of shadow clones
Paths of pains, because that just is more fair, I feel.
versus
It
the
makes it more
10-tails?
ridiculous. Yeah, either 1,000 Nagatos or 6,000 paths of pain. That one sounds crazy. Just one whole 10-tails. Say the war arc 10-tails.
Yeah, I don't think it's too crazy to say that Pain would probably be able to subdue him or to subdue the 10-tails.
What would Pain use exactly? Like, I guess he could use the animal summonings. And realistically, if he uses the animal summoning that whenever it gets hit, it spawns an extra head, if you put that against the 10-tails, just that solely alone, I feel like, what can the 10-tails do? Just over time would lose. Just kind of scary, because that would put that random one animal summoning above the 10-tails over time easily. Unless you want to say that it just makes so many heads that it's just impossible for it to move and it's just inconvenient to live.
He said part 1 rules where chakra is divided or Shippuden rules where clones are equal to the person. Probably Shippuden rules if we're talking about the 10-tails in Pain.
That's weird. I don't know. Let's just say chakra divided, but Nagato actually has crazy Uzumaki chakra reserves to where it doesn't actually make a difference. So theoretically, he doesn't even have to make 1,000. He could just make like 100. He feels like it's necessary.
Yeah.
But the more the merrier for this one. Animal summoning's just OP.
Animal summoning is OP.
Need anything else? What about this as a win con? What if the 10-tails just on its own activates the infinite Tsukiyomi? Can it do that?
I think it does need an activator.
Even then, it still takes several minutes.
Nine-tails Jinchuriki Neji versus Rinnegan Hinata.
What? Okay. I like that one. Which Nine-tails version? Are we giving him KCM? Are we giving him KCM2? Just not?
I don't know, that's weird.
Nine-tails J versus Ren. I don't.
How would that? So would she just not have the Byakugan? I'm confused.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Well,
That's a weird one.
Then that's almost a nerf.
Yeah.
All right. What about this? I'm gonna give it to Neji due to like a creative argument I just thought of. The Nine-tails chakra, at least like at the beginning of Shippuden, is said to be like one of the most poisonous chakras imaginable. So what if Neji can just combine that chakra with his like gentle fist and kind of make a pseudo Baryon mode that doesn't kill himself?
Oh my god.
Wow.
It just poisons the enemy in like one hit.
Yeah, I'd say Neji though. Even without like the pseudo Baryon mode, what you would just get rid of her Byakugan or what?
So he would still have his, but she wouldn't have hers. Is that basically?
And then he'd just get the Nine Tails on top of that.
Oh yeah, that's Neji then, definitely.
One Rinnegan and one Byakugan. So kind of like the Edo Jinchuriki, but like instead of a Sharingan, it's a Byakugan.
Yeah, Neji though. Like you said, Neji still wins.
So versus battle debates aside, I got two concepts for you. It's still like a versus thing though.
Okay.
Which reflection do you think is stronger? So Neji's rotation, which like reflects all ninjutsu, or Madara's fan, which like absorbs and then spits out ninjutsu. If Madara's fan just hit Neji's rotation, what happens? Just say Neji never dies. Neji just goes straight for Madara.
Just from what we've seen, I feel like the fan probably stronger than rotation. I'm gonna go off of memory. What would you say? Yeah.
So because the fan specifically absorbs ninjutsu and then spits it out, he could absorb Neji's rotation because I don't think the fan is a ninjutsu, so I don't think the rotation would reflect it. Madara would absorb the rotation and then he would spit it back out at Neji, or he would have the rotation to rotate himself. And then he could wait until Neji uses a jutsu against him and then reflect Neji's jutsu with his own rotation.
Yeah, I guess, huh?
Right, but I did say I have two concepts for you. That's the first one, kind of like a warm-up to this concept idea. The second one goes crazy. I think you know who Daemon is, right, in the Boruto manga?
Yeah.
You've seen how his ability works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say ability only. So no like speed or anything to make it unfair. Ability only. Daemon versus Hidan. This is the most mind-boggling concept in the entire series.
And okay,
let's
so
just say, however it happens, Hidan, I guess, gets Daemon's blood, but I don't think that would ever happen. So we're already making it unfair.
Yeah, okay.
So we just kind of have to assume that unfairly. So Hidan automatically gets Daemon's blood, and we'll just say he makes the circle and he goes into his weird black and white phase. he can just stab himself, and then it hits Daemon, but then it reflects back on Hidan, but then it reflects back on Daemon infinitely.
How do you come up with an answer to that? That's insane. Okay, so
let's break it down for me step by step. What do you think's happening?
I don't even know where to start. So
Hidan gets the blood,
he gets the
makes
blood,
a circle,
activates his jutsu, stabs himself. It's a
loud.
fatal hit. It goes to Daemon. It bounces back, but he's still stabbing himself, so it would just go to Daemon again and then bounce back, dude. And he's just not able to die. But neither is Daemon technically in this scenario.
Daemon, I think, is able to die. He just can't be hit.
Yeah, so like in this scenario, this is some crazy shit.
Daemon's ability needs intent, while Hidan's ability doesn't have intent, so Daemon won't be able to reflect it.
Oh, okay.
So what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, we were trying to get your opinion because I know you talked about this a few pods ago, so I was trying to bring this up with Trippy here. The whole thing of abilities only, Daemon versus Hidan. I remember y'all came to the conclusion after a straight good 20 minutes of talking about it that Hidan would win. Just don't remember how.
Yeah, so we had to set up the conditions perfectly for Hidan, obviously.
Okay.
Right, so both abilities are active. No step is needed. So Hidan goes to kill himself, so which is intent behind his actions. So then that would reflect onto him, but he wouldn't die because that's his ability, Hidan. So then the damage that he would be inflicted with from his initial intent, like he wouldn't even be able to make the physical movement. His thoughts of making the physical movements would hurt him and then hurt Daemon, but reflect off of Daemon back onto Hidan. And then because Hidan won't die, Daemon will get hit by the second attack because the second attack lacks actual intent because it's coming from Daemon's reflectability autonomously. And since we have established that intent is needed, then you would take the damage.
Forgot all about that. You explained that way better than I ever could have. Because it is the intent. He doesn't even have to actually stab himself. Just the thought alone automatically makes the stabbing.
It's actually kind of crazy, but you have to set up the conditions just perfectly in order for that to be a thing. Yeah, no, it's an interesting little conundrum, but it wouldn't just like be some infinite loop of like them just like going back and forth for all eternity. But it's definitely a little fun little topic. Tenten, 6 paths Tenten. Oh god.
Who said
6
that?
paths Ramen Man. Yo, that's a good one. 6 paths Ramen Man, omnipotent god tier versus 6 paths Tenten. However way you want to parse that out, good luck.
Oh, I got you.
The sage of 6 ramens.
Yes, sir.
Oh no, we're Sauron when we need him. This man will be advocating.
Before you leave, if you haven't yet, be sure to check if you're subscribed, because I know there is this weird YouTube glitch that can unsubscribe you. So just double check, make sure that little red button is checkmarked white, or better yet, the subscribe button says subscribed. Go ahead, turn on bells if you need to.
Also go check out Anime K. He was on here earlier. He's also linked.